1,400 meters above sea level, the country of gods and mountains. Yes, this is Nepal. I've always been curious about the snow mountains of the Himalayas and the old temples of Nepal. How would the atmosphere of the Himalayas be? And how beautiful would the temples be? Also, the photographs of Annapurna captured me. That's why I could be patient for the 8-hour journey to Kathmandu. After an extremely long flight, I arrived in Kathmandu. My first impression of the city was, it was a mess. That's probably the correct word. I mean, dust was everywhere on the ground. So dust was rising every time the cars would move. Furthermore, there were no sidewalks. So people would have to walk right beside the cars and motorcycles. However, it didn't take too long for me to change my mind about Kathmandu. In Nepal, Buddhism and Hinduism coexist at the same time. And the Buddhanath is well-known Buddhist stupa, or tower, that is representing Buddhism in Nepal. On the top of the tower, called a stupa, there are 4 pairs of eyes that surround by 4 different directions. It means the eyes of Buddha see through nature of heaven and earth. Also, you may see people who are walking around the stupa with spinning things looking like a cylinder. This is called a manita. Each manita means a scripture, and spinning is a substitute for reading it. Therefore, walking around the entire stupa is regarded as reading all of the scriptures of Buddhism. So many travelers spin the manita to be closer to the teaching of Buddha. And there's another Buddhist temple in Kathmandu called Swayambhunath. Swayambhunath temple is famous because of the monkeys. This is why Swayambhunath is known as the name called Monkey Temple. They are living there with the local people. People don't pay attention to the monkeys. In Nepal, coexisting is a natural thing. People don't kick them out even if they're hanging on their windows. It is the rule to share their things with each other. If you'd like to see historic Nepal of the Middle Ages, you must visit Bhaktapur and Patan. Bhaktapur and Patan were the capital of the Old Kingdom. These 2 cities still preserve the look of Middle Age Nepal, and I was impressed that people are still living in the city today. I have seen many well-preserved museums and heritage around the world in my life, but nowhere else has made me experience the old history like this. People walking, breathing, and talking are really happening. They're not faking it, they're not acting. They are living in the city of the Middle Ages. Visiting Bhaktapur is like going back in time for many, many centuries. Even so, I couldn't feel they are needy. This place is old, and it looks animated. My next destination after Kathmandu is Bandipur. Bandipur is a perfect place to see the life of a small village in Nepal. I took a local bus to leave. It was a hard time to take the trembling and the bus full of people. Besides, Bandipur is high up on the mountains, so I had to take a car. But it started to get foggy as I was going up. However, after arriving in the village, Bandipur, the weather was strangely clear, like somebody had just enchanted it. But the things I saw there were more magical. Bandipur was an important place for trading between China and India. But as time went by, this place had been forgotten because a new fast way was made. However, now it became famous for travelers. The reason for this is because the center of trade, it has its own exotic impression. The sewing machine is more eco-friendly here. Children are more childish than I used to know. It was unfamiliar people that were looking relaxed whenever they are at work or not. Everything in Bandipur looked easygoing. This is a small village. Actually, it won't take a few minutes to look around the whole village. As I arrived to Pokhara, I started to feel the journey was coming to an end. I had expected to go to Pokhara because of the Pewa Lake. The lake and the city is surrounded by the mountains, just like they are trying to hide it from the world. Ordinarily, this city is silent and peaceful, but luckily the day arrived and it was November 31st, the last day of the year. The road was full of singing and dancing people. I found a pub called Upbeat with a live band. It was a common pub except for the waiter is a dog and the dancers are kids. But the taste of the cocktails are extraordinary. When the morning comes, the city gets so calm and peaceful, just like the last night is a daydream. However, it doesn't mean that it's boring. Some people row out into the lake and some people go to paraglide. The alley beside the lake is highly recommended to walk along. And there are many restaurants and cafes by the lake to take a rest. This is why Pokhara is a starting point of Annapurna trekking. You would find it to be an unexpected paradise. Finally, it's time to go see the Annapurna. I took another local bus, and of course, it was full of people too. The final destination was a village called Dampas. It's always marvelous to find how people live. There were houses by the way that I was going. I was surprised that there was a school too. And I saw a terraced farm. It seems like it's not very different. Sounds funny, but I felt like this place is like an island, though it is surrounded by mountains. Because it is isolated, it makes itself more beautiful. When I arrived at my guest house, the mountains were covered by clouds. I felt the whole journey to come here could be meaningless. Even Wi-Fi couldn't comfort me. However, when I woke up in the morning, I thought Santa Claus dropped by. The mountains were unrealistically beautiful. I always imagined that Annapurna would look purely white, but it was shining yellow because it reflects the sunlight of morning. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Traveling to Nepal was like treasure hunting. I always found beauty in the unexpected places on the way I came. Sometimes it was people, and sometimes it was a scenery. In my world, what people think beautiful is fancy and shiny things and spotlighted. The things in Nepal are not tangled by the rules. Everything is natural as the way they are, without any disturbance. So Annapurna started to hide itself by the clouds. Yes, beautiful things don't ask for attention. Now the world I see is different. I could see what others think is beautiful, but I think I can find beauty on my own now. So what about you?